Hello everyone, welcome to the Raquel and Nathan YouTube channel. You join me here in my room. I have this room set up at the garage, so luckily during quarantine I don't have to travel. Now that makes it really easy for me to crack on with doing things to the truck, and today we're going to start off by doing one little modification to do with the rear lights. So I'm going to change the rear lights for LED ones. They came in the mail yesterday, so let's go outside and I'll show you what they look like. Okay, so in this package is the rear lights. Now if I open it up, we can have a look and check out that they're LEDs. Look, there they are. So I'll take them over to the truck and we can see what they look like in comparison. So the bottoms are LEDs and the other two are regular halogen bulbs, but the LEDs should make a massive difference on the look of the truck. Look, that's the old versus the new. I like the fact they're all smoked out, not red. I don't like the red, it makes it look old-fashioned. You can see. So I think these should be fairly easy to install. My only worry is that I have a tow bar attachment, and as you can see the electrics, they must feed off of one of these lights. It could be left or right, I'm not entirely sure, but we'll find out when we come to that, and I'll have to do some little bits of wiring, but it should be fairly easy. But to start off, I think I'm going to make myself a cup of coffee, and I'll see if my dad wants one as well. So here's a little tour of the coffee setup. So we've got this Rocket Apartmento machine. This is quite a nice machine, I can't deny, but it does it like a proper barista would. My dad's going to come over and I'll get him to film me making coffee, because it is quite interesting how the procedure works. Okay, so Dad's on the camera now, as he's my only buddy in lockdown. So I'm going to empty the coffee and I'm going to clean out the puck residue from in there. So this is how we do it. As you can see, it's sort of like a ghetto-ish sort of setup, and it's all dirty, but that's how coffee shops should be. I have worked in one, I have worked in a coffee shop, but like I said, the Starbucks beans, they're not what we're using today. We're using Delta. It tends to froth up a lot more. My dad's showing off our collection of Starbucks, as we are quite proud of that, but due to lockdown can't get any beans, so we're using Delta. So I'll grind them up. And we've also got this quite fancy tamping device, so this just crushes the coffee, so the grinds are more dense for the water to go through. But this one clicks, so you can set the pressure for it to click. Normally they don't have that, but we've got it set to a nice bit of pressure for our beans. And then I'm going to warm the head of the coffee machine up, make sure it's nice and hot, cleaning out any residue of coffee in there, and put it in. I'm going to grab myself a cup. Now, cup's going in, I'm going to turn it on. Get a nice close-up shot of that flow, sir. So we're looking for about a 15 to 20 second pour, anywhere between there we're happy. Off it goes. And now it's time for the milk, as I like mine latte style. I'm going to grab myself a milk jug. These milk jugs are quite cool. Look, they got the temperature on them, as 60 degrees is the temperature you want for your milk. As it's absolutely freezing in here, I might go a little bit higher. In goes the milk. I think that's called purging the steamer. Now I'm going to steam it. The aim here is to get the milk completely silent. No bubbles in the milk. And no screaming. Screaming is not what you want. If you're in a coffee shop and the milk's screaming, you're going to get a terrible cup of coffee, most likely. There we go. Just going to wipe off the machine and blast out any milk residue. Tap the milk. That looks pretty velvety smooth, I would say. So here we are. Going to get the shot and get the milk, and in we go for the pour. Now I'm going to mix up the crema, as the crema on this Delta milk coffee isn't very nice, so I'm going to try and get that quite milky. I'm just going to come in close for a nice little leaf. Oh, quite happy with that one. Now it's just a taste test, of course. Let's see how it tastes. Not bad. That's a nice cup of coffee. I'll make one for my dad, and then we'll crack on with the car. So me and my dad have this little setup. You can see the chairs out here in the sun. As we're used to the hot weather in Portugal, like I said in my last video, we're used to the hot weather, and oh, I must say, the sun is lovely today, but it's only about 7-8 degrees, so it's freezing. But when you're sitting in the sun, it gets up to about 20. I need to put my sunglasses on. I can't see a thing, but I'm going to sit back, enjoy my coffee, and then, like I say, we'll crack on with the car. So look guys, this is our local cat. What's that? She's our neighbour's cat, but they've gone away for the week. So we were on duty to feed you, weren't we, Puss? Hey, we're on duty to feed you. So we give her food every day. And today she's in to say hello. Love that cat. Hey. Such a beautiful cat. There we go. Enjoy that, Puss. There we are, enjoying your breakfast. Okay, so coffee's finished, cat's been fed, so it's time to crack on with the lights. Now I'm going to open up the back and we'll see where we start from here. Here we go. Okay, so that's two of us who have nearly got the concussion now. So, it's open and locked in place. It just takes a little bit of precise placing. So we've got the rear lights to go in. It does seem to just be 2 bolts on the back. I believe they're a size 10, but I'm very excited to get these on. I think they're going to look much better. So, if I compare the wiring, I'll keep them out so I can look at the old ones in comparison and make sure that the plug's correct. Okay, we seem to have broken into the light that has the splicing. So you can see it's been cut into here, or tapped into, so that when you brake on the car, the signal is sent to a trailer if you're towing it before. So I'm going to take this clip off and then we'll take it over to the bench and study what I'll have to do. Okay, so down here you can see that the spliced wire I've undone. So now this one's sort of detached from the car. And then I'm just breaking them open really to try and get them undone without having to recut them. Okay, so if we come over here you can see luckily the connector is absolutely identical, because sometimes on these lights that you buy, obviously if you can't see them on the internet, sometimes they have different connectors, even though they say that they're for your year and your model vehicle. Sometimes they just have different connectors. I have had that issue before, but they seem to be actually slightly better than the originals. The originals don't have the vapor escape pipes on them, where these ones do. So that should be quite good. But if I take a note of which wires have been spliced into, I should be able to repeat that on the new light. So I'm going to get the other one out and then we'll see if there's any more splicing to do. Okay, so this one's been spliced into as well. Okay, so here's the second rear light. Now it's been spliced into as well, so I've got to do it on both of the new lights, obviously to each one, so that the trailer can get all the lights correct, like the indicators and the brake lights and what have you. So it's fairly straightforward, just spliced into each one. I took a photograph so I know which colour on the car is which, because obviously you don't want the brake light coming on if you're indicating, so you need to make sure you get them in the right order. Okay, so I've taken a photo, like I said, of how the splicing is going to happen. So I'm just going to exactly replicate on the old light onto the new light, and there shouldn't be an issue. The only thing I'm wondering is it has never been spliced into the reversing light, but I'm guessing that that's not needed. I'm just going to copy exactly what was on here on the new light and we shouldn't have any problems. So these are the clips I'm going to be using. What you do is you put them over the wire. Sorry, it's not focused. And that just basically splits into the wire so it has the current, and then you can get one of these plugs and attach it to the wire you want to go into the other wire, and it just plugs in. Even I should be able to do this, so we'll give it a go. Now I'm going to get my little photograph here, and I'm using the other old light as reference. It has been tapped into on the stripy green one here, so I'm going to go for the brake light stripy green one here. Folds over, making sure that the wire is in between this, I now have a cat up on the worktop. We don't often get the cat, it's only because we've given her food. She's staying, I think. So I'm going to cross this with some pliers to crimp it in. Like so. And then it should have locked into place, which it has. And now we have a power source. So the current will flow through here, but we also have a diversion to the car. Okay, so now we're back at the car. We've got these old wires that have been spliced into. I was trying to keep these intact, but I don't think I can, as they have slight tears in them, so I'm going to have to cut them off. So, just going to snip these off. And I have to just go and get some wire cutters. No, wire splitters, sorry, so I can just take a little bit of this excess plastic off. So here is, I'm going to call this the vintage wire stripper. It's my dad's, he's had it for about 35 years, 40 years. He recently actually just got it working again. It was really rusty, and now it's works really well. That you can see it sort of grips it in there and then pulls it apart. So you just got to choose your size. Oh, put it in the wrong one. Should just pull it off like so. There we are. Now I must say this vlog's a little bit more interesting due to the cat. She's never really paid us this much attention before, so it's quite nice. What do you think of the wire splitting, Puss? Do you think that's nice? Oh. Right, so now they're ready to attach the plugs onto. So I'll just crimp those on now, and then we should be ready to plug it in. Okay, so I'm just going to use a little bit of this Worth Rust-Off, just to give a little bit of a coating on the sort of plug here. Should be well in there. Red to brown. Plug that in. And then green to blue. Plug that in. Like so. And then white to yellow. And then just the plug. There we go. Okay, so now it's the moment of truth. Got to tuck the wires in. They got these small guiding pins here, which sit in these two sort of scrub screw style things. Now I'm not going to fully install the light. I'm going to let it sit there and test that it actually works. Now we'll leave it there. Now it's the moment of truth. Let's see if they work. I'm going to stand back from a distance to see. Okay, so the lights are in, as you can see here, but you probably witnessed the end. The car would not start. Now I have a Pandora. I'll put a picture of the alarm box here. I've got a Pandora mini alarm installed on this car because it had no central locking, so we got that just so it would lock. But we've just tried to start it, it will not start, so clearly the wires have affected the system. Didn't realise that was a thing. I don't know why the rear lights have anything to do with the alarm, but they do. So for the last 20 minutes or so we've been trying to get through to a helpline, but unfortunately we got through once after about 6 or 7 attempts. And he's now redirecting me to a different person who's going to try and tell me what's wrong, even though he was on technical support. So we're going to see what happens there, but considering the car won't start is a big issue, and their helplines don't seem great so far. So we'll see how we get along with the alarm and the support, but I don't think that it's going to be that much use. So yes, I'll let you know how it goes, and I'll keep documenting as we continue. Okay, so my dad's gone upstairs to try and get to download a manual for the alarm, as every single person who we've called has not answered or has just tried to refer us to someone else who hasn't answered. So we're kind of stuck here. The car will not start, it just bleeps, because obviously the tag on the remote is connected to the car, and for some reason now the car will not find, it thinks that the tag isn't in its perimeter, so it will not start. So I've got a bit of a problem here because yeah, we kind of need the car, so it's not ideal. And the place that we had it installed is like an hour away from here, so he can't just particularly come out, especially during COVID. It probably wasn't the greatest time to do it, but there is no reason why the alarm should be attached to the rear lights. I don't quite understand why. See, these sophisticated alarms, they're great, and it's really good because it bleeps if you bump into it. It'll bleep, and you know, it keeps going, you know, telling you to move away from the truck if you're too close or whatever. But on moments like this, they're a pain in the ass. So we'll see how it goes on.
2 hours later.
Now you can see the big grin on my face, big grin on my dad's face right now, because we've been looking all over the internet for cures, and they say change the battery. We changed the battery literally 2 weeks ago, didn't we? And it can't be the battery, it can't be the battery. Changed the battery, one click, and it worked. Like, the chances of it were so slim, but it worked. So now it works. So I can bolt the lights in, and we can see how they look.
And we can go home.
And we can go home.
I want to.
Yeah, not that we want to, but we can go home. So we're happy.
You're
and
a genius,
yeah, a genius by changing the battery. So
I wouldn't have done that.
yeah, so I'll re-bolt these lights back in, and then we'll give them a test. Okay, so the cat's back in. Oh, straight down. All she wants is more food. She's already had her daily allowance. So I just got to get these lights in there. Okay, so. Oh, and she starts. She starts. Yep. Bit of smoke out there, I'll tell you. Before I go exploring, I think I need a new head gasket. I'll put all my tools away and I'll take it outside and I'll give you a little show of how they look. Okay, so as you can see, I've changed location and I've stood up. I've set up a tripod here. The sun is absolutely lovely right now. I'm currently looking around salt flats. They're absolutely beautiful. There's actually some flamingos down there, which I can't get the car to, but there are flamingos and they look absolutely lovely. As you can see, I've splashed through a little bit of mud coming down here because it's probably half a kilometre of mud tracks. But I just want to say a massive thank you to anyone who's watching. Me and Raquel obviously aren't together right now, so it's a bit of a shame that she can't be here with me. But I'm sure when quarantine ends, she'll be down here as soon as she can. But that's about it for this video, and I'll do an outro montage of the rear lights in action, and I do think they look fantastic. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.